So going back to the question I was asking is, what can happen to change the direction of a Rick Ross at 10, at 12, at 11?
Richest Man in Babylon would have changed it.
That's what I'm saying. So instead of reading That Was Then, This Is Now, or Mice of Man.
I didn't care why Jack and Jill was going up the hill. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't going to get no money. I didn't want to know about it.
No interest for it.
None. But once I started to see that, these books made me go back over my life, step by step. That's how I wrote my book. That's how my first book came out, because I went back over my life and I started to do step by step. Well, what are you doing here? How did you get here? And when I did that, I said, well, you know what, Rick? You work your way in prison. They just didn't put you in prison. You earned it. You earned to be here. Like I tell kids all the time when I go to the schools and speak, I say, look, you can go to the prison right now. Go to the gate, ring the bell, knock on the gate. They're gonna come out and ask you what you want. And you ask them, can you go in? And they're gonna say, no, you can't come in here. You have to go out and earn your position in federal prison. They don't just take anybody. You know, it ain't like the Army where you just go sign up. No, you got to go out and earn your position. So I went out and I earned that life sentence that I got. You know, and when I figured out that I could earn it, then I figured out that I could disearn it. And that's what I did. I started to work just as diligently in getting out of prison as I did to get in.
And this leads you to start studying law.
Start studying the law, politics. You know, I started studying politics.
Why politics?
Well, in federal prison, say for instance, if all the judges would have denied all my appeals, then I could have played politics to still get out. In my thinking, and you know, I was thinking crazy too, right? I was going to become so smart that the jails couldn't hold me, that the people of the United States was going to cry out so loud for my freedom that the jails wasn't going to be able to hold me no longer. Whoever the president was, Congress, they all would have been like, let him out of there. We need him on the streets. You know, we need more of him. And that was my plan.
The plan was get so smart that they need you in the streets rather than in prison.
Exactly.
Wow. Now, if we go back, how did you get into the drug world? How did that happen?
Well, you know, I just found out that I wasn't going to be going to college. I didn't have any sponsors for tennis. I didn't know what I was going to do with my life, you know. I saw this movie one time called Superfly, where this guy had started selling cocaine and he got rich and he beat the police and everybody, and I was like, wow, what a great dude. And it kind of just went over my head, you know, nothing, you know. I didn't know about the subconscious mind at that time, you know. I didn't know that you can't be giving seeds to the subconscious mind like that, you know, because it'll work and act on it. And then just one day I was just sitting on my porch and I'm contemplating like, wow, you got a miserable life, boy. You don't have gas money, you don't have no food. If your mama stopped feeding you, you're done. And my friend called me and he was like, man, I got something new. And he was like, come by. And I went by and he put it on the table, some white powder looking stuff, and I was like, what's that? And he said, oh, that's cocaine. I said, oh yeah, what you doing with that? And he was like, oh, I sell it. He said, see these gold chains that I got? And that's how I got them. And I was like, wow, is it really like that? And he was like, oh man, this is a new thing. And that's how I got started.
How old were you at the time?
19.
19.
Yeah.
So how quickly after that did you start selling?
Well, I started that day.
That day?
He gave me $50 worth to go and see what I could do with it, and I started going around asking everybody. Really, I didn't know I was marketing. You know, I'm asking everybody, hey, you know what about cocaine? And is this really cocaine? And finally, you know, most people didn't know what it was. And then finally, I found somebody who did, Martin. That was my first getting beat. I got beat out of that cocaine, and but that was my first sale as well.
First sale and first beating.
Yeah.
And so you go back, and what happens there? At what point do you start scaling it?
Well, after he used all that cocaine that I had and didn't give me any money, But later on that day, he came back with somebody else that spent $100, and that's how my business started. It was just kept going after that.